Let's speak now to SABC News political reporter Samkele Maseko, who's been tracking the story for us. Samkele, what's going on? Take us behind closed doors. What were some of the reasons given for the delay?
Essentially, what transpired is that the ANC and the EFF deadlocked on one pertinent issue. The EFF was adamant to the African National Congress that they don't want to co-govern Ekurhuleni. In essence, they want to govern alone in that specific municipality, and they will give the ANC Johannesburg, they'll give the ANC Tshwane, but they just want to govern Ekurhuleni alone. The ANC, led by the Provincial Secretary, T.K. Mziza, and also Mr. Mzwandile Masina, their provincial chairperson, then escalated the matter of the deliberations between the ANC and the EFF to the national leadership of the ANC. You'd remember that in the early hours of the morning, around 11 o'clock, Mzwandile Masina, the provincial chair of the ANC, also walked in and then went on to have deliberations with the EFF's Deputy President, Floyd Koshivambu, as well as Marshal Dlamini, the Secretary General of the EFF, and the visuals that you are showing now. Later on during the course of the day, you did see the ANC and the EFF singing for the very first time together in the council chambers in Ekurhuleni. So in essence, there is a deal in principle between the ANC and the EFF. But that deal is now being hampered with the EFF wanting to govern Ekurhuleni alone, and the ANC saying, no, you can't co-govern alone, because that will then put the ANC in the back foot as they're saving the same constituency. They want a co-arrangement deal. But in essence, before they went to bed last night, the deal was Nkululeko Dunga would become the mayor of Ekurhuleni, who is the leader of the EFF in Gauteng. Then the speaker position would go to the ANC and all other portfolio committees within the legislature and to the Super 7 smaller parties. But then the issue then became Mzwandile Masina, who then refused to become the speaker, but instead said he wants the mayoral chain at all costs. Then that angered the EFF, and then it changed the deal between the two parties. And later on during the course of the day, you saw the leader of the EFF, Julius Malema, saying whatever happens in Ekurhuleni will determine the fate of Johannesburg, which would then mean if the ANC does not give EFF Ekurhuleni, the EFF would no longer vote with the ANC in the city of Johannesburg, which would hamper Dada Morero's ambitions of emerging again as the mayor of the city of gold.
I suppose then that's why we then saw Mzwandile Masina then withdrawing his candidacy.
Mzwandile Masina was forced by the ANC's provincial office bearers to pull out of the race to become the mayor of Ekurhuleni. In essence, he and the REC were essentially defying and giving the mayoral chain to Nkululeko Dunga of the Economic Freedom Fighters. It then caused huge tensions between the ANC in the province and the ANC in the region of Ekurhuleni, which then had to see the provincial leaders of the ANC, the provincial chair, the provincial secretary, then coming in to try and resolve the matter. In the 11th hour, the REC, the officials of the ANC in Ekurhuleni, then withdrew Mzwandile Masina as their candidate, and then they introduced Jongizizwe Ntlabati, who is the deputy chairperson of Mzwandile Masina in Ekurhuleni, who is also a councillor in the municipality, to become the mayoral candidate, which then forced the ANC to agree with ACM in order to try and postpone this council sitting. But as we are seated, Tania Campbell, mathematically speaking, was never going to emerge today as the mayor of Ekurhuleni, because with the visuals we are seeing now, Bongani Baloyi, the leader of Action SA, they were pretty much adamant that when it comes to the mayoral position, all parties in the coalition government are on their own, and they were going to field their own candidate, who was the MMC Museki, to be their own mayoral candidate, which would have fought a split. The chairperson, who was the ANC deputy chairperson, was now seated next to Mzwandile Masina, Jongizizwe Ntlabati, was the one who was going to be the ANC candidate should the deal have broken down with the EFF. We do know that now tonight, going on for the next few days, Panyaza Bisufi, T.K. Mwiza, Paul Mashatile, the acting Secretary General of the ANC, are going to be seized with this matter of negotiating coalition governments in Gauteng. In essence, the EFF is going back to that model that they proposed in 2021 after the local government elections, of saying the ANC must govern one municipality, EFF governs one municipality, Action SA or the DA governs another municipality. The proposal was Action SA vote with the ANC, vote with the EFF, they form a coalition government in Gauteng, lock out the DA. The Action SA, in a few weeks ago, had the very same proposal being tabled to their Senate, where they discussed broadening up their coalition arrangements in order to include voting with the EFF in a formal coalition and also in a formal coalition with the ANC. That prompted Action SA President Herman Mashaba to go to a Twitter poll to ask if Action SA members want to work with the ANC or the EFF in any formal arrangement. That polling happened on Twitter. Bongani Baloyi, the chairperson of Action SA in Gauteng today, saying that they are now going back to the drawing board, and he will be going back to the Senate of the party to say, do you still want to work with the DA by hook or crook, knowing very well what is happening within these municipalities, with Ekurhuleni failing to elect a mayor today?
And Samkele, one wonders if all of this is being done to manage just relations in council. What's happening with service delivery on the ground? But let's leave it there with you for now. Thank you so much for your time. And let's see if they are able to reconvene then within 7 days, as they say. That's Samkele Maseko. They're bringing to us the very latest on the issues surrounding Ekurhuleni. And you can only imagine, I mean, we saw the same thing in the city of Johannesburg. There's been an attempt to manage that coalition arrangement there now in Ekurhuleni. So really the big question, where does it all leave service delivery? Who monitors service delivery as these councillors are, really trying to manage the relations? But we'll continue to bring you more on this particular story.